Hello, lovely people. Today we are reading on karma and the wildfires in LA. Now, I am not in any way suggesting that there's any karma to the individual people who live there. Oh, look at that. Guardian. It's more to do with the elites, the government, the local government, people looking after their own. And look at the fire sparks coming out of this. It's when people want to feather their own nests. And unfortunately, others have to suffer. There's definitely blame on people who were supposed to be the guardians, people who were supposed to protect others. And unfortunately, when some people are evil, these kinds of things can happen, where innocent people suffer. Loyalty. People employing people out of loyalty, out of nepotism, and not worrying about the jobs that they're supposed to actually be doing. And I heard the fire chief in LA, she was being asked, what about the water that was switched off, or there wasn't enough power, or there wasn't enough pressure? She said, my job is to run the fire department. I don't know where the water comes from or how it gets there. What? That is literally your job. Reciprocity. Yeah, I'm getting there's dark, evil energy afoot. Not the individuals, not the normal, everyday folk, not the individuals, but there certainly have been a lot of wickedness going on in LA. Abuse of the intimate kind, people misusing their power. And look at this. The keys at the top there, the keys to the city. That almost looks like somebody in a fire suit. Secrets, like the secrets that were kept for so long with Harvey Weinstein and others along that line. Ooh, change. This might be the only way to get things to change, is to burn the place down. Goodness, this is very, very dark. The underworld. And also, our thoughts can sometimes create our reality, and we know that all these dark things have happened in that place. And so hundreds of thousands of people thinking about that place in a negative light can also affect the energy. Vengeance. Oh my word. I just send love and prayers to everybody that's there, everybody that's lost anything. Last count is 11 people have lost their lives, including an Australian. Rory Sykes, who was a child actor and he was 32 when he died. He was born blind with cerebral palsy and had to overcome so much. He had surgeries and therapies to regain his sight and to be able to learn how to walk. And he was a child actor, and then in later years a philanthropist. He started a charity with his mum to help children who are ill. Respect. People in authority demanding respect. And there's been lots of talk about the diversity and equity hires, hiring people to fill the quotas. Well, no, that's not going to work here, and it hasn't worked. Discipline. And I'm getting very much this is, we have to respect the ones we've decided to put into power. We need to be disciplined. We can't speak out against people who are in our political party. It's a cult of power for the sake of power, and really not doing their jobs to look after their citizens. Chaos, harpy. This is very much a the entertainment industry kind of a look and feel to it. Now, I'm not saying that any of the specific entertainers were to blame, but sometimes the government, whether it's local or wider, state or federal, becomes a bit of a performance. They're not really doing things to help the people. They're feathering their own nests, and they're putting on a show. And even Joe Rogan was saying the other day, somebody had told him that all you need is for the winds to change and LA will be burnt to the ground. And I've even heard some people coming onto social media saying, we used to live in LA and we were concerned that this very thing would happen, so we moved out. Dragon. Oh, excuse me. Oh, treasure, it says. Not looking after their people. And apparently, LA has given millions of dollars to homeless people and drug kits to people who are on the streets. And I'm not saying that people on the streets shouldn't be looked after, but what about all the people who've paid their taxes diligently? Look at this building at the back there. I know it's the Coliseum, but you can imagine that looks like the houses that are no longer standing. Foresight. It's the fire chief's job to foresee this kind of eventuality and to make sure that it was planned for it. It's the mayor's job to foresee this kind of eventuality and plan for it so that people don't get killed. 11 people killed, 180,000 people displaced. And I saw a very sad video online. Somebody was interviewing, a news station was interviewing a lady, and she said, she'd lost all the mementos from her late mother and her late father, but she also lost in the fire her sister's ashes. I mean, how sad is that? How sad is that? Oh, look at the fire. There's the fire. Love. Maybe something this drastic was needed to finally create change. Resilience. The people are resilient. And I saw an interview of a 91-year-old man, and he'd lost his house, he'd lost everything. But he said, that's not important. And I will start again, and I don't know how I'll do it, but life goes on, and I'm just grateful for the people around me. And he just had this courage. I mean, we've got to talk about Meghan Markle and Harry, because their stupid Archewell Foundation, which never does anything, put out a statement saying, we're trying to work out how best to support people. You've got $4 million in your coffers. Why don't you donate it to the American Red Cross or the Humane Society? There you go. That would be doing something. Oh, and if you can take in friends and their pets, you should do that. Coming from the lady who estranged her husband from his whole family, who has still never ever let her husband meet her father. Trapped. Oh yes, they want to give the impression that they're trapped. Good grief, using other people's grief. They're so overconfident in their own relevance. Like we need them to tell us what to do in an emergency. Does anybody actually go, oh, look, there's an emergency. Let me go and look up Archewell Foundation because they'll tell us what to do. This is the end of the chapter. This is the end of the chapter for many in Los Angeles. There must be sweeping reforms, and the public must rebel if people are allowed to keep their jobs. And I wonder, I was just getting it intuitively today about Donald Trump. When he is president, I wonder if he's going to take over LA. I know you can't really, but you can if you declare it an emergency, a health emergency. Can the federal government take over running the city? Take positive action. Somebody has to take some positive action. Somebody has to do something. Practice positivity. Recognize divine timing. Something has to be done. This cannot go on. millions and millions and millions of dollars being sent overseas to help other people in their wars. And I'm not saying that they don't need funding, but we need to look after our own. Look here with a sailboat and the sailboat. Countries need to look after their own, not. I mean, yes, look after other people if you can, but resources are limited. The first people you need to look after is your own. You know that charity begins at home? And look at that. Home. High Priestess of Spirit. This, and it's in the upside down. I think this is referring to Meghan Markle releasing that stupid statement. Oh, and also their statement was something about letting friends and family come and open. They are opening their doors to their friends who have been displaced. You mean like the millionaire celebrities that they can then use for publicity? Yes, we'll give you a refuge. And again, she wants to control the airwaves. She wants to control the narrative. But people are so sick of them. Anyway, I don't want to talk about them anymore. They're so irrelevant. You know, there would be a joke if it wasn't so serious. Those two people. They're really... and what can we do? Is anything we can do to prevent this kind of disaster? Acceptance, hell. We need to accept that what we've been doing isn't working. Now here in Queensland, just in my area where I live, there's been more floods today. And oh no, I'm just looking on YouTube. There's a thing that's come up. Harry and Meghan help fire victims. Hang on, I've got to watch what this says. Okay, so they've got a camera crew there because, of course, they can't actually just help people by helping them. And they're talking to the mayor of Pasadena. It's a Pasadena Convention Center that is serving as an evacuation site. I will put the link to this video in the link. No, I'll put it in a pinned comment or the description to my video, so that you can see this Fox 11 Los Angeles. Okay, so Harry is alive, and he is in California, and he is with Meghan Markle, and she is now dragging him along to this evacuation centre. I don't know how visiting is going to help anything. Why didn't you give them your $4 million that you've got sitting in Archwell? Oh, my word. Shadow. Service. Pretending to be in service. Mirror. They really need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Goodness. Just when I thought they couldn't stoop any lower. You know, the focus should be on helping people, not being there with your entourage and making it a photo op. This is Uvalde 2.0. It really is. Oh, look how wonderful we are. This is a freedom card. I don't know. Upside down. What does it say? Power. You know what would show true power? Doing something that you don't have to publicize. Not using somebody else's tragedy to get yourself in the news. It's all for show. That's a video, that's a card where I talk about, I always think of somebody sitting outside of the events watching things burn. Fast forward movement. Gee, didn't take them long, did it? Didn't take them long at all. And that's my card for the royal family. The royal family would have been wise enough to send financial support and not to make it all about them. The horse is bolted. The horse is bolted. Yeah, I don't think Harry is ever going to go back to being the normal person he was. We blame Meghan for leading him astray, but he seems to be a willing participant. He seems to be a willing It's called, I think it's called performative activism. That's what I'm getting here. Performative activism. Mystery. Boundary. They just have no boundaries. They have no boundaries. This is the boundary card, and they have none. I can almost see them sitting at home waiting, watching the news. You know, remember on House of Cards, they would watch the news and they would be waiting to see if there was some terrible disaster, and then the politicians would rush out and make it a photo op. That's what I see. Synergy. It's the two of them, just being so wicked and evil to really use others. Gratification. Gratifying their own lust for the spotlight. Okay, let me pull a couple of cards for those who are actually affected by the fires. Send them love and prayers. And I know a lot of communities have come together over this. There was one lady waiting in a very, very long food line that I saw being interviewed, and she just said, I'm so grateful that there are people here to help me. And people said, oh, well, you know, did your house get saved? No, my house is burnt down. I've got nothing material left, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the people that are here manning this centre that is giving out food. And she said her teenage son was going to his friends' houses to pick up clothes because his friends were all donating their clothes so that they could get dropped off at the distribution centres. So here's this teenage boy who's lost absolutely everything. He's going around to his friends, collecting clothing so that he can give it to the distribution centre so that other people can be clothed. Not standing in front of a camera like certain people. Not making a big performance out of it. Actually doing something. This music just reminds me of, you know, the harmonies, people coming together. They have a lot to juggle in the next weeks and months. But there will be a community that comes together, and many people will never return. This travel card, many people will never return to where they used to live. Communication. I know some people found it difficult to communicate during these disasters. Spirit guides. Many will turn to each other. The community will be strong, and many will have a renewed faith. It's interesting, in the Spirit Guides card, there's actually an alien at the top there. And the question, it's the eagle, but it's upside down. At the moment, many people are in despair and they don't know how they can go on. But people are stepping in to help in a meaningful way. House. Many people have lost their houses. And yeah, I was going to read on causes and that kind of thing, but I'm not going to do that now. Infinity. Just sending infinite love, prayers and blessings to those affected. And I'm really hoping and praying that things change, and this the people who are in power have a long, hard look at themselves, and if they can't keep their people safe, then they shouldn't be in power. And I don't think that celebrities like Meghan and Harry should be allowed to use this kind of thing as a well, it's just sickening, isn't it? I don't think they should be allowed to use it for publicity's sake. Those cameras shouldn't be there on them. It's ridiculous, beyond ridiculous, and sickening. Just when you think they can't get any lower. Just when I was starting to think, oh, maybe Harry is, a pawn in Meghan's game. Ugh. He should know better. He should know better. Anyway, my lovely people, be grateful for all that you have. Be grateful. If you have a roof over your head tonight, I certainly am very grateful. When the storms hit again this afternoon, I was very, very grateful that we'd had a hole in our roof, and the roofing people couldn't figure out how to fix it. So we ended up getting a local handyman. And him and my husband worked together, and the handyman used a hose pipe on the roof, and he was hosing different parts of the roof to figure out where the leak was coming in, and he sealed it up with bathroom silicone sealant. And in all the rains we've had so far this year, which have been a lot of rain, we haven't had a single drop coming through. So I just, I send love and appreciation to those kinds of people. He might think his job is not a very prestigious or important one, but to us, it's meant the world, because he's kept us safe by doing something that even the professionals felt that they couldn't do. Well, my lovely friends, may the angels walk with you and guide you every step of the way. Sending you love and blessings, especially if you're in California, but anybody who's experiencing hard times.